The forbidden rituals. Egyptian priests tried to hide from the world. When the moonlight struck the temple roof that night, the stone beneath Kemu's feet began to breathe. Not metaphorically, he felt a slow, ancient exhale rise from the cracks, as if something buried for centuries had awakened because of him. And he knew instantly. He was standing above a secret that the priests had killed to protect. Kemu had lived his entire life within the walls of the Temple of Aset. He was a scribe, trained to copy hymns, preserve royal decrees, and maintain records that priests did not have time to write themselves. He had grown up believing the temple was a place of purity, wisdom, and truth. But truth is a fragile thing in a kingdom built on sand. And some truths he was about to learn were trapped beneath stone for a reason. The storm that broke the seal. It began on the night of the Great Desert Storm, one of those rare, terrifying tempests that turned the sky crimson and made even seasoned priests tremble. Winds howled like tortured spirits, statues rattled, the sacred brazier nearly extinguished. Kemu worked late copying a hymn when he heard it. A loud crack, followed by a heavy thud. He ran outside and saw something astonishing. The sealed western gate of the temple, a gate that had remained closed for over 2 centuries, had been ripped partly open by the wind. Priests panicked. They rushed toward it, chanting prayers meant to drive away evil, but none dared to step inside. Kemu saw his master, the elderly high priest Horem, press a trembling hand against the cracked door. The old man's face was not filled with fear of the storm, but fear of what lay behind the door. "Kemu!" he shouted when he noticed the young scribe watching. "Step back. No one goes near this threshold." But Kemu had already glimpsed what the storm revealed. A dark staircase descending deep beneath the temple, lit by torches that flickered, despite no one touching them. The torches burned blue. The whisper in the archive. For several days, the priests worked to reseal the door. They hammered new beams into place, covered the entrance with cloth, even performed purification rituals. But the image of the staircase gnawed at Kemu's sanity. He tried to distract himself with work, but the night of the storm had changed something in him. He started noticing things he had never seen before. Priests whispering behind stone columns, guards patrolling corridors that had been empty for years, scrolls disappearing from the archives, new torches placed in the hallways, blue-tipped ones. He asked a fellow scribe what was happening. The man muttered, "Nothing," too quickly and too nervously. So Kemu turned to the only place that would not lie to him, the temple library. He spent hours in the scroll archives, searching for any reference to sealed chambers or forbidden staircases. Most documents were predictable: rituals, temple accounts, hymns. But one scroll caught his eye. It was old, brittle, written in a hurried hand. Its title, Rituals of Binding for the Memory Vessels. He froze. Memory vessels? What were they? The text was incomplete, but he deciphered fragments. The vessel shall carry echoes. Rituals not for worship, but for containment. If awakened, the priests must silence the witness. Silence the witness. His blood turned cold. Was that why the priests panicked when the staircase opened? The night he broke the seal. It was midnight when Kemu returned to the sealed door. The moonlight carved long shadows across the stone. The sandstorm had left cracks in the new seal. It would be easy, far too easy, to break it again. He should have turned back. He should have pretended he never saw anything, But curiosity is a quiet kind of madness. He pushed on the wooden beam. It slipped out like a bone pulled from an old skeleton. The door groaned open. The blue torches flared. And Khemu descended into the darkness. The staircase felt colder with every step. The air was heavy, as if pressed down by centuries of secrets. At the bottom lay a circular chamber adorned with carvings unlike any in the upper temple. These were not depictions of gods. They were depictions of priests performing rituals over stone masks with hollow eyes. In the center of the room was a pedestal. A scroll lay atop it, tied with a golden thread. He reached out. The thread dissolved at his touch. The scroll opened itself. Symbols writhed across its surface, rearranging into sentences. Let no mortal reveal the rites of binding. Let no witness survive the awakening. Let no voice speak the name of the vessel. Khemu stepped back. The chamber pulsed. The carvings shifted. A sound, like stone grinding, echoed behind him. He turned and saw a face carved in the wall. A stone mask. Its eyes opened. Blue light spilled from the sockets. Khemu stumbled backward, dropping the scroll. Visions burst into his mind. Visions of ancient priests using rituals to bind memories into stone, to trap confessions of dead pharaohs, to store forbidden knowledge that could destroy dynasties. The stone mask was a vessel of truth. And now it had awakened. The priests arrive. Footsteps thundered above, then down the staircase. The high priest appeared with 2 guards. Khemu gasped. "Master, this place, these rituals, what are they?" But Horem did not look angry. He looked defeated. "You should not have opened the door," he whispered. The stone mask flickered. Its mouth moved, not with breath, but with memory. A voice echoed through the chamber, layered and ancient. "The dynasty was built on blood. The priests preserved the truth. Truth is a weapon." The high priest shouted for the guards to grab Khemu. "Seal this place again before the vessel speaks more." Too late. The chamber trembled. Dust cascaded from the ceiling. The blue flames burst into tall columns of fire. The temple itself was revolting, awakening after centuries of forced silence. Khemu fled. The guards lunged but lost their footing as the room cracked open, splitting like an egg. The high priest tried to chant a sealing prayer, but the words cut off as the ground beneath him gave way. Khemu escaped the collapsing chamber seconds before the staircase crumbled entirely. The cover-up. By sunrise, the priests sealed the ruins beneath new stone slabs. They claimed it was a structural failure caused by the storm. But Khemu knew better. They were not sealing damage. They were sealing truth. He should have stayed silent. But that night, while everyone slept, he returned to the courtyard. The stone still trembled faintly, as if something beneath it was breathing. He knelt, pressing his hand to the ground. "You are not destroyed," he whispered to the vessel. "You are waiting." He knew what he had to do. He packed a small satchel, hid the surviving fragments of the scroll beneath his robe, and slipped away into the desert. Because once a forbidden truth awakens, the world will never sleep again.